Longview, very tough team, another tough team in the district, and it was our first district match yesterday. And like I said, our kids competed, though. That's all I can tell you is that, the bottom line is we competed, and the kids are learning from, day to day. It's still a learning process. What I admire, and like I talked to Dr. Lamb last night, he was there, and he supported us last night, is that, we're looking at the resilience of these kids as they're, being knocked down to the ground, but how they get back up and recover and still keep fighting, and that's what they're. And then the remarks that I had yesterday after the matches, sometimes you think, like, do we have to practice tomorrow? I mean, we just got beat. These guys here, like I said, it really made me feel great that they have the determination. We need to practice. They know they need to practice. And so that what makes it even better for me to coach, because these kids are now finally figuring out that, you have to practice if you want to compete even at the next higher level. So I'm very happy with, what the outcome. I know is not pretty, but the kids are now realizing it, and this is at the early stage. And if they are realizing it at this point, then we're in the right direction, because I feel like we can only go up. And like I said, they're very determined, to start practicing a little bit harder, put a little bit more effort, and have more of a positive attitude at practice.
What was the score? How did it turn out?
It was still, it was still 19-0.
Oh, okay.
It was still a 19-0 match. But it's not indicative of what we looked at. The points were a little bit longer, more deuce points, and got more games. The players. So you can see there's a little bit more of a, improvement from week to week. We're not just getting beat like 6-0 or 6-0 or. So now we're fighting into 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4 matches. We had some that get real close. So the kids are figuring out, hey, we're getting closer. We're getting points, and that was our objective yesterday. Was like, let's get out there. Let's get more games on the board. And what I really strived for them to push was to eliminate their mistakes. This is where we have lost over the last 2 weeks. We're making way too many mistakes. And now they're figuring that out too, like, hey, the less mistakes we make, the better off we're going to do. We're going to have better points, we're going to have better, point production, getting game production, and competing. So making the less mistakes, now the team is finally realizing what I'm stressing when I say less mistakes. And that's just like in the pros. You see, like I said, the guy can have the 160-mile-per-hour serve now that I heard last night, but he still makes too many mistakes, still doesn't win the match.
Mm-hmm.
So,
anybody you can point to that you thought fought especially hard out there for you?
No, not really. They all did. Yeah. Really. I was walking from court to court, and everybody was extraordinary. I mean, there were some exciting points, I guess, from my number 6 girl, Jasmine Johnson, really putting a lot of heart into her match. I mean, she, another one, Carolina Espinosa, another tough girl that's coming up, moving up as a sophomore, very determined. Caroline Burns. Those are about the 2 to 3 girls that I thought were really, pushing themselves. And then Andrew Sant, he was also pushing himself out there too, Mm-hmm. So, but everybody up and down and still gave 120%. But these seemed to put out a little bit more effort during the match.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you've got a busy Saturday and non-district matches at 2 locations. Is that correct?
Yes, we're supposed to head up we're heading up to Lindale, and we're going to play Jacksonville, 9 o'clock. And then we're supposed to be heading now. That game, it looks like, could be postponed to a later date. The afternoon match against Van at Van High School. They're looking at moving that one because of the Labor Day weekend and the number of kids not being present. She called last night, so it looks like we could be moving that match to the following Saturday or within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that match will be played, but it looks like we may postpone that to another date.
What about district play? Who you face next?
Next week, next Tuesday, we head to Hawesville. We'll be playing a tough match. Be playing a former player of mine that I coached and played against in high school, Paul Haney. He's the coach over there. So looking forward to meeting up and going against him as a coach versus coach type of deal. I know they have a very strong team. I know what they have done in the past, but we're still up for the challenge, and our players are ready to play. But they also know they're going to put in 3 to 4 days of work here before we get to Hawesville. So we're making some changes too on the roster. So we think some changes might help and create a little bit more positive throughout the lineup for everybody.